Hey guys, my name's DocJade and welcome to episode 5 of Krastorio. Immersite seems to be a pretty common late game ingredient, so now's probably a good time to set it up. We're still placing concrete because I don't play between the episodes. Doing things off camera is for Minecraft YouTubers, and that couldn't be me.
I'm
Voices
6
are
foot,
short.
so
No, you're not.
yes I am.
I like to imagine you as a midget IRL.
Don't look for those videos, they're unlisted. Back on topic, we're out of stone due to our stone mine running out of, well, stone. And we just lost all game audio. Nice. It's just one thing after another today. There's another tiny stone patch below the base, and we can use that temporarily while we find a more permanent solution. The Immersite quarry is done. Next up is AI cores. They seem to also be slightly important. After gathering all the resources for a quarry, we can throw it northeast to the coal patch. Very convenient that all the resources are right here. Before we do that, we should probably enclose it in air filters. While I wait for those belts to build, we can hook up the quarry, and apparently Krastorio has custom achievements. Neat. After hooking it up, we've got Immersite on one side of the belt. There we go. Now we can finish placing all the air filters and remove the old belt. Next we need to start refining the Immersite into Immersite crystals, and for that we'll need Immersite powder, so I'll set up another crusher. Thankfully the loaders have filters, so this is pretty easy. After connecting the belt, we've got the powder. I'll route the sand over to the other crushers, and let's figure out how to turn that powder into crystals. Looks like we'll need sulfuric acid and nitric acid. That's new. Nitric acid is made of rare metals, ammonia, and mineral water. Now, where do I find mineral water? Looking at the map, I don't see any mineral water anywhere, so it's time to go exploring. I very quickly got in over my head with some biters and lost my car. And since I haven't paid for auto insurance since 2012, I quickly fled the scene and got another one. After driving by quite a few nests, I lost my car yet again. I still haven't found any mineral water. Back home, I check the tips and tricks for any information about mineral water and come up dry. So back to wandering around looking for it. A ton more exploring later, and I still haven't found anything. But AI cores are done researching, so that's cool. Even more wandering later, I finally found some mineral water. I'll clear out the nearby biters and start running a pipe back to the base. Once I've completed said pipe, let's set up the pump jacks. I'll put a big tank on the other end of the pipeline, so it's fine if it only runs during the day. Now it's time to set up ammonia. I'll build something bigger when I know the ratios, but for now, I don't need very much. I'll run the Immersite powder up, then we can get started on nitric acid. Here's that big tank of mineral water I was talking about earlier. I'll run the rare metals up, and now we've got a tiny amount of nitric acid. I'll set up the chemical plants, and now we have Immersite crystals. In the background, I unlocked these advanced radars. They're pretty cool as they allow us to cover the entire base with one radar. I'm going to cancel our research as it is so mind-bogglingly slow that there's no point in continuing. We desperately need stone, and all of the bigger stone patches are quite far away. So it's time to change tactics. Yes, that's right. It's finally time to start building actual defenses. Due to putting it off for so long, we don't have to worry about boring old gun turrets. We can skip them and go straight to laser turrets. I want my wall design to be based on Factorio's 32 by 32 grid for easy snapping. Oh, and I'll research substations to make this blueprint a bit prettier. I added some cool concrete patterns, but I ended up discarding it. And now I finally notice that OBS isn't recording any sound. Understandably, this makes me very angry. Finally, sound is back. The straight wall blueprint looks pretty good, so now I'll build the outside corner. I'm going for a more brutalist style wall, as opposed to the curvy walls from the Green Circuit series. There's the outer corner done. Now it's time to do the inner corner. Rails don't curve quite this tight, so I'll have to make a little loop that goes outside of the chunk. But don't worry, the alignment still works. This wall is super overbuilt for our current defense needs, so I'll trim it down and use a lighter version that we can upgrade later. Concrete is stealing all of our brick production. I'll shut it off so we can make more walls. Speaking of walls, let's take those new blueprints for a test run. Now we just need to sit back and wait for the roboports to be placed. It would be nice to see what's going on next to the walls, so I'll add a sentinel to the blueprints. I enclosed some stone with the new wall, so let's set up another mining patch. New mine means new train station. I'll set that up. I'll run a belt over to the stone input. Hopefully that should help speed science back up. These biter bases are decently close to the wall, but I think we'll be fine. But I will throw down some laser turret production. Power consumption is slowly climbing. Hopefully the new solar panels and accumulators will be enough to offset it. Oh, I forgot to balance the stone. I'll run a secondary belt for maximum stonage. More laser turrets! We've now got more stone than we can consume, and we're still low on bricks, so it's time for a dedicated brick smelter. Here I fix accidentally mixing the belts, and then I mix them again and walk away without noticing. With loaders, wall production is pretty easy. Having some higher tiered modules could come in handy later, so I'll set up a few assemblers for that. We aren't getting enough batteries for laser turret production. I'll build some more. Okay, I concede. There's no way I can feed all these assemblers. I'll get rid of a few. Might as well turn concrete production back on now that we've got plenty of stone. The test wall is almost complete, and I'm quite satisfied with it. I'm going to make this little grid blueprint to make connecting new walls to our power and bot grid a lot easier. I started working on the south wall, but that project is short-lived because we have a major problem on our hands: power production. I'll build a tileable solar panel setup, but I can't build any right now due to resource shortages. We're low on iron due to a fluid backup of dirty water, which is backed up due to the filtration plants being backed up on clean water. I'll add another flare stack. Now we're making more enriched iron than we can smelt, so in a classic move, I'll completely ignore our power problems for now and expand our iron smelting array. This new smelting array fits pretty nicely over here, and I didn't even measure it. After hooking up the iron, coal, and setting up the recipes, it's up and running. There's not an easy way to snake the iron onto the bus, so I'll have to go up and around the lake to sneak it in later. And would you look at that, the consequences of my actions. Our petroleum production is easily affected by our power production, so once we start to dip, it's basically game over. And since offshore pumps need power, we can't even use steam engines. I'll attempt to remedy this by putting efficiency modules in the oil refineries and chemical plants that are dedicated to petroleum, and then I'll disconnect the entire thing from the main electrical network so we can run it off of solar power. But now our oil pump jacks have stopped as well, so I'll disconnect that and add solar to it as well. I forgot about the offshore pump. After isolating everything essential to power production onto its own separated power networks, we get about a 50% duty cycle for power during the day, which is fine. But the moment it becomes night, we don't have enough petroleum to support all the generators, so it's time to make a secondary oil refining setup. With the secondary setup up and running, the accumulators are actually starting to charge up, so hopefully we shouldn't have to worry about power for a while. Never mind. Well, I'll finish the iron plates bypass belt and then expand the steel production again. I think it's time to continue our path of world domination, so let's clear out some more biters. I pushed a bit too hard here and died, but luckily my turrets were able to take out the rest of the behiders on my behalf. After recovering my body and massacring more biters, let's start setting up our southwestern wall. A bit of walking and pasting later, the wall's all blueprinted. Now we just need to wait. While we wait on that, I'll throw a second belt down for more iron ore. Whoa, that's a lot of walls, but not a lot of concrete. I'll throw the excess bricks over to concrete production. Still no satellite for the rocket. Bummer. Back to wall building, I'll manually place the roboports to help speed up the process. I can also speed up the video to speed up the process. Next up is our northwest wall. Right after making the turn to head east, this biter nest absolutely destroys me, so I come back with grenades. That did not work. How about poison capsules, guns, grenades, and fish spam? There we go. I want a Spidertron. Badly. But there's more to research before we can build one, so I'll work my way towards fusion energy. But here's a spoiler. No Spidertron this episode. Copper supply is lacking, which leads me to finally discover the stone being mixed into the ore enrichment plants. Once that's fixed, we're good as new. I'll add a second belt for copper ore, and turn the old iron smelter into an additional copper smelter. Power is still cripplingly low, by the way, but we can ignore it and just go back to working on the wall. I made some more personal laser defenses, and now guns are merely a suggestion. We're now done blueprinting the northwest wall, so let's finish the southeastern one. There we go, time to wait yet again. Power is still a major issue. Let's try to finally fix that. Literally 1984. Let's try solving our power problems with yet another steam power plant. Old habits die hard, so I did the wrong ratio again. After building the whole thing and hooking it up, I am very disappointed in the relatively tiny amount of power it provides. And you know what? It's time for a real solution. We're switching to nuclear. Thanks to Nilaus for this 4-reactor build. I can highly recommend his base in a book and masterclass blueprint books that are scattered around the internet. Let's tear down this stupid steam power and start automating the pieces we'll need for the reactors. Also, I'm slightly modifying his design to use robots for uranium delivery. There's one reactor. There's two. It's not even near fully built yet, but we're producing enough power to finally not worry about blackouts. While it finishes building in the background, I am a bit curious. Will I get something special if I launch the Dolphin back into space? Nah, it's a waste of a rocket. Maybe later. And later is now, let's go. Oh man. The walls are all finishing in the background, and fusion energy is done. I think this is a nice spot to end today's episode. I'd like to take exactly 7 seconds to thank my supporters on Ko-fi. Their donations allow me to keep making videos just like this. And that's all for today. My name's DocJade. Bye-bye.